and not just shorted myself. I literally shared the signal inside the early light as well. I hope I did. I don't remember, maybe because I joined late. Uh, Rejoin. Uh, so I might have joined late. That's why uh, might not be able to find the signal, but go on my channel, scroll above, you will be able to see what I'm talking about. So basically, we literally shorted this 116k, but unfortunately I gave a signal, but then I closed it. Why? Because the emotions took away, and I was like, oh, we are gonna pump from there, we are gonna reject from there, not from there, but rather there, and that was the reason that caused me to close the trade. Then I was like, no, 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 let's short again, and then I gave a new trade with a tighter SL, and that got stopped out. See, trading is more about emotions and controlling your psychology. Let's say if we had caught that shot, we would be in like beautiful profits of like almost 23%. Let's say if my stop loss was 2%, that would still be a 12-hour trade. But unfortunately, we were not able to catch that shot, and it was a beautiful shot. It was like we had a daily FVG. If I go and explain you, we had a daily FVG. We had a liquidity sweep in here. Let me just adjust this. Yes, we had a liquidity sweep in here. We had an inverse FVG coming in here. So it was a lot of confluences. There was an anchored VWAV from here, and there was a value area low as well. And of course, we had a golden pocket as well, I believe. Yep, we had a golden pocket as well. So it was a beautiful shot. You had everything you need to know, but unfortunately, we had a TA, but we didn't had a control on our emotions that caused a bad execution, that caused a trade to fail. So that's what I'm telling you. So trading is more about psychology and emotions, and basically then everything aligns together. So enough yapping about psychology, trading, and etc. Let's get back to the what I'm expecting next. So I usually like to start from the higher time frame, because it helps me mark out the level and levels and clear my mind what's happening. Because if you go on a lower time frame, you just see bearish, l- uh, lower lows, and you will like confuse yourself. So just go on a higher time frame, clear your mind, and let's say we go on a higher time frame. What do we see? First of all, we see a very beautiful thing, is that a weekly FEG. Beautiful. We see that weekly FEG. Now, what else do we see? That weekly FEG is about to get completely filled. And keep in mind, once the FEGs usually gets completely filled, you expect a bounce. If you want an example, like here, like here. But of course, that doesn't mean I'm calling for an all-time high. By the way, I'm just showing you a learning curve. So we didn't completely filled it perfectly, but we filled it 90% of it. So, and yeah, we are about to fill it like almost 100% of it. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that what matters, first of all, what we see on the chart is a weekly FEG, beautiful weekly FEG. But not just that, if I draw a Fibonacci from this swing low, from this swing low to this swing high, we got ourselves a beautiful 0.79 level aligning with the end of the FEG. So now we got ourselves two confluences basically. And basically this 0.79 level is the very last level you have on the Fibonacci where you expect a bounce from. If you don't get a bounce from there, then it's most likely then we are gonna break the low and we are gonna go lower. So this FEG is at your last support. Yes, you can argue that we have this weekly order block, but I'm not a much fan of this 82k 78k. I'm not a much fan of this. I would rather expect a bounce from there, we go higher, maybe we reject from here, I don't know, but I expect a bounce from there, or at least from there. But I don't want the price to go this low, because then I don't have enough confluences to just make a bet on there. Basically, that's what it's all about. The more confluences you find somewhere, you go along on, go a short on. So yeah. So basically, also the one of the reasons I talked about this short is I am not a bull, I am not a bear, I don't care. What I just care about is from where I'm gonna make money. So we were making money from here, but it was a bad execution. That's why I'm not in a short right now. This was a beautiful short opportunity. I agree that I missed it. But yeah, now we are not in a short, which is a shame. We should have been in the short. That should have been my first priority. But now, since we are not in a short, I'm not gonna force a trade. I'm gonna give you a short level, by the way. Don't worry. I'm not gonna force a trade. I'm just basically gonna wait for bottom to get in. Wait for some confirmations, and we will be good to go. So now let's go on a weekly time frame once again. We got ourselves 0.79 weekly FEG, and we got ourselves a weekly level. Now, most of you guys might not be aware of what a weekly level is because not many analysts and many traders utilize this strategy. It's basically a simple support and resistance, but an advanced version of it. It's more of a level that once it get flipped, you can expect a bounce from. It is a level where you can expect a rejection from. If it's get flipped, you will expect a continuation, etc. So that's what basically level defines. So we got ourselves a weekly level, we got ourselves a 0.79, we got ourselves a FVGN. So we are already looking at major confluences around this level. Now let me check if we have an anchored VWAP coming from this low as well. No, we don't have it. Nope. Nope. Oh yeah, anchored VWAP is a really beautiful tool, by the way, if you actually know how to utilize it. Yeah, so unfortunately, we don't really have an anchored VWAP. Let me check it from the all-time high. We don't really have it quite on the 85 level we are looking at, and keep in mind we are at the weekly level, so that matters as well. Weekly time frame, sorry. So we don't have an anchored VWAP, but we got ourselves three beautiful confluences aligning together at this level. So that gives us an opportunity for a long. But that does that mean I'm just gonna place a limit? No, that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait for a reaction. I'm gonna wait for a market structure shift and etc. All that bullshit to go along from. So yeah, and of course, if we now if we go on a daily time frame, you will see we got ourselves another FEG here which aligns more betterly with the weekly level and the 0.79 level we have. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind, by the way. So what we can do is that we can fill this FEG, we can then tap the 0.79 level, then we can reclaim the weekly level, and then we go higher. So I will go on a lower time frame and I will cover that more. But basically, right now, understand that this is the level we are looking for a bounce from. If we don't see a bounce from here, then unfortunately, we have some bad things on the Bitcoin. Now, let me check where the NPOC is real quick. NPOC is basically a naked point of control. We got ourselves one NPOC at around here. So yeah, that's concerning because that's below our level. But we got ourselves a box where we can look for swing longs. So that's another good thing. So we got ourselves an NPOC here, and we got ourselves an NPOC here. Yeah, let me just mark it. Yeah, we got ourselves an NPOC here. So yeah, and we have already tapped that NPOC. Not sure if we are getting a bounce from here. No, we didn't got a bounce from here. We literally smashed through that NPOC. That's why I don't like the limits much. I usually try to play the reaction. So yeah, overall, this is the level I'm looking for long. Not interested in longs before that. Now you will say, given you the long level, by the way, let me just give you a short level. Then I will cover on the Bitcoin trade, basically, which I shared and which got stopped out. I will talk about that as well. Keep, I don't worry. I don't shoot arrow in the air without knowing what I'm doing. So yeah. Now, if of course, if you guys have any question in the meantime, please do let me know. I would love to answer them. If you have any question about my strategy, anything, etc., I would love to answer them. Okay. So now, let's get back to our shorting level, which I'm looking at basically, which will be this level. By the way, if you guys follow our other analyst IAB, I hope I'm pronouncing her name. She got a really beautiful shot. It was a really beautiful shot, and I was looking at that short area as well. But it just for me, my system didn't convince me to just go short from. I wish I would have had because we are literally not in any shot. But yeah, shit happens. So now if I go and see how beautifully, if we draw a channel from this high to this low, we beautifully rejected that middle of the channel, and now we are literally crashing into the end of the FVG, weekly FVG. So now, by the time now, if you don't understand what my trading strategy is, it's pretty simple. It's really simple. It's basically I try to long, I try to go short from areas where the most confluences are. That's it. That's it. If I find more confluences in certain area, I will go long from there. If I find certain more confluences on a certain area, I will go from I will go short from there. So you will see my strategy gets unfold in more streams as I do. Right now I don't really have a trade to go and cover where I show how I approach the market. Usually what my streams are usually is that I go over my trades and I cover that what was the reason I took that trade. So yeah, but this is the first stream. We will get there, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, this is the level I'm looking at short from. It is a beautiful 96 area, and the reason for that is I think there's an anchored VWAP coming from here. Yep, there's an anchored VWAP coming from here. Now it has gotten a bit lower because right now we are crashing, but ideally, I'm looking at short from this area because we have a lot of liquidity, a lot of literally a lot of liquidity, and even if I go on a 12-hour time frame, you will see that this is a really major level, and after that we have this 12-hour FEG as well. So we can sweep this, we can tap this FEG, and we get rejected. So that's my A plus setup right now. I'm looking at for the shorts. There are some other confluences as well, but they are now misaligned because what I was expecting when I longed is that I was expecting that we are going to tap the 96K first, then we are going to short from there, and then we are going to do this. But unfortunately, we didn't swept the 96K and literally we went down. So yeah, that was a mistake. We should have waited for more reaction, but I was like, now we're gonna see the relief because there was a lot of shorts opening at the lows, even at the lows. But unfortunately, nope. They said no. We're gonna go and sweep this weekly FEG. We're gonna go and tap the lows. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You get stops out many times, and you will make it. You will most of the time you will make it. You just have to be consistent with your setup, and you just don't need to get disappointed. So yeah, now, 96K is the area where I'm looking for short. By the way, if anyone is interested, of course you will need to wait for the reaction from there. Probably a lower time. You will need to go on a lower time frame. You will need to see some lower time frame structure shift, and you will get yourself a beautiful trade. But yeah, anyways, now if I go, let me just share my chart once again. If I go on the Discord, hmm, let me just drink of water real quick. Yeah. So now, if I go on the Discord and I'll show you the trade which I'm basically looking at. It's that this was the Bitcoin trade which I was looking to long, and I think the Muro. I don't know if Muro is here, he's listening, or he's just in the stream. But Muro had the quite similar idea as me. He was looking to long from this order block. This was basically a 4 hour, I think 1 hour order block, which was aligning with the discount area. Plus, we had a this. You see. I hope you are able to see that this was a market structure shift. I hope you are able to see my cursor. This was a market structure shift for me, but nope, I should have waited for this high to get broken. Or at least we should have done something like let me just share. I was just showing this trade that this now I'm gonna cover this trade. Now let me go on the price action and cover why I was taking a trade and where we went wrong so we can both uh, ref, re, flex on our trade. I don't know why I can yeah here. I'm not able to share my screen. So now if I go on a lower time frame and 4 hour time frame, this is a better time frame. Uh, where was this price action? Where was this price action, man? Yeah, I don't know why I'm not able to find that. Yeah, this. So this was the order block I was looking to long from. And see, we had a quite of a reaction as well. We had a quite of a reaction as well, but unfortunately, this was just an inducement. I should have, what I should have waited for? See, this was a. Now, let me just explain you something really beautiful thing about the market structure. This, this. Now, you have a change of character here, but you should have waited for this. You get my point? Let me just explain again. You have this downtrend going on. You get yourself a change of character. Now you should have waited for another low, but not enough to break this low, and then you create another high which breaks this high. Now you make entry here. See, you at least wait yourself a two market structure shift, or what else you call a head and shoulder pattern. Now do you realize every pattern suddenly falls into your technicals. It's not like patterns are shit. It's just Some people like to call them shade. I don't call them. I don't call the pattern entirely shade, but I just don't use them. I have my own system. So, see, you make a head and shoulder patterns. You do 12 two break of a structure, then you look for entries. But no, we didn't wait for the two break of structures, and I was eager to long, and then I just longed it from this order block of 1 hour. And if I go on and this was not a random order block, it was a golden pocket as well, and there was an anchored VWAP as well. I hope it's still here. No, the anchored VWAP is now messed up, but before that it was at the order block. And not just that, we also had a trend line coming from there, which was of course uh, doing a retest. Let me just, yeah, it was also doing, there was a trend line breakout which was doing a retest. The trend line breakout was on the 1 hour RSI as well, but unfortunately they just dumped the price. So yeah, you never know. What could I have done better is that I should have waited for this structure to break or this structure to break, and then I should have made an entry on the retest. But no, I made an entry earlier, and that's why it didn't work out. And of course my idea is that we long from here, we have our SL here, and I target basically this 97k, 96k, 97k. We sweep this, we go there, and now then we short from here. That was basically my idea overall, but unfortunately that didn't play out and we crashed. But I don't mind it. As I said, don't need to you don't need to get disappointed if you get stopped out. You will eventually make it. Now I'm not gonna give you a limit because I don't like to play for the limits. Usually what I will advise is that let me just go on a daily time frame and mark the lows more betterly. Yeah, let me just analyze it for real quick. Weekly level. We have got this of ourselves, this FVG. So yeah. Do you see this end of the daily FVG aligns beautifully with 0.79 level? That's another confidence you have. So yeah, I would ideally say that wait for tap of this and lower time frame. Go on a lower time frame. Let me just relate this real quick. So go on a lower time frame. Wait for the sweep of this weekly level and the tap of the 0.79. And when you see something like this, look for entry and then you go long from there. And you can essentially target this, but you don't want to target the all-time high, because I don't expect the all-time high from there respectfully, unless we get a really really major shift on the 4 hour on the daily, but which I don't see, but rather I see an insane weakness on the Bitcoin time frame. So yeah, basically this, when you see a lower time frame structure break, just wait for the lower time frame structure to get break, and then wait for the retracement of the golden pocket and the 3 minute FVG and make yourself an entry. Now this can be a bit of overwhelming for you, but you will get there as we more cover my strategy, as we more go over the concepts. So it's gonna be interesting days, it's gonna be more interesting streams. So I hope I see you guys there. So yeah, and by the way, any feedback, any suggestion about the stream is appreciated. That any feedback, any suggestion about the stream is appreciated. What do you guys want me to do, how we should be covering, etc, etc. So yeah, now Bitcoin is covered basically. Weekly level it is. We will wait for the lower time frame structure to get shift, wait for the FVG of 3 minute to get formed and make an entry in there. But yeah, this is a major level. Don't sleep today. Wait for this level to get tapped. Make yourself catch yourself a really really beautiful long. So yeah, and again, as I have explained, my strategy revolves around making 10 to 5 15 hour a month. So I don't have to worry about catching really really high hour longs. Even if I catch 2 to 3 hour longs a week in a single trade, in a single trade I catch a 2 3 hour. That's good. That's beautiful for me. So yeah, now now I can cover the Ethereum. Oh, Ethereum is approaching my level. I didn't saw it. Yeah, it's a beautiful level. I don't know if you guys remember the Ethereum price action, but overall, if Ethereum enters into this range, we are basically cooked, because then Ethereum will just do this. It will just do this. That's the way it did here, the way it did here, the way it did here. So yeah, you don't want that. Plus we have this anchor DV web coming from this load, so that's another confluence. So we got ourselves a 0.62, and we got ourselves a weekly level at the Ethereum, and we got ourselves an anchored VWAP coming here. So we can be building a good long, and of course this weekly level aligns beautifully with this weekly FVG middle and the end of the daily FVG. That's how you align multiple confluences and you get yourself an entry. Daily FVG end. If I go on a weekly time frame, weekly FVG middle, that's approximately a middle of the weekly FVG. We got ourselves a golden pocket and an anchored VWAP. Beautiful confluences you got yourself lining up here. So yeah, that's basically you look for. You can align the weekly level a bit more if you want. You can go here, which goes with the 0.62 more. I will probably be less aggressive with the Ethereum longs right now. Let me just have this open in this well, because Ethereum looks extremely weak to me. But yeah, overall, see, of the weekly FEG aligns beautifully with the daily FEG, and so yeah, I'm definitely looking at this level, but I would need to see some sort of lower time frame structure shift, at least a 1 minute, 3 minute. Let's go on a 3 minute time frame. You see, there's just weakness. You cannot long this. You should not long this, and you cannot long this. If I go on a 1 minute time frame, even on a 1 minute time frame, you got yourself nothing. This is not a structure shift, by the way. So yeah, the Ethereum is basically cooked. I won't be looking to long it unless we get a. And even if I long late, I don't mind. I don't mind longing late. My whole point is that catch yourself a good 2 to 3 hour and go home. That's it, basically. Bitcoin, it is bouncing a bit. But I don't really call this a bounce. We literally filled 99% of the FVG. So if you're seeing some sort of bounce, I'm not gonna mind. But you see, if I'm on a 5 minute time frame, all I see is red candles, and you expect me to just go long, that's not gonna happen. I need to see more structure shift. I need to see more of the price spec action to get developed. So yeah, basically a quick cover of the Solana. It's cooked. Yeah, that's basically it. It's cooked. 124, you got yourself a beautiful zone to go long from the Solana. If we sweep this, I think IRB have the same zone marked as well. But overall, if we sweep the 124, I would love to long Solana once again. But 4 hour time frame, if a sorry, this is also a great low which we can sweep and run higher, but not really ideal zone for me. I would like to see a complete fill of this order block or a tap of the monthly level, and then basically we can go long. Even right now, if you basically want to go long, it's not a bad long at all. Yeah, you can have your stop loss here, or maybe you can have here, you can play a bit aggressive, and you can target this. You can target this. You got yourself a beautiful 5 hour swing trade running up. So R on the Solana is beautiful. So if you're looking for a swing trade on a big asset, I would definitely recommend checking out the Solana. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, would love to answer. I think I've covered everything about the Bitcoin and the Ethereum and the Solana. What I'm looking at, Bitcoin, I will expect a rejection from the 96k area. Sorry, the short. For the Ethereum, 2750 is the area I will be keeping an eye on. But let's say if we fail to bounce from this area, then our next area is basically 2600 and 2500. Yeah, would be a beautiful level as well, because if we go on a weekly time frame, you got yourself a beautiful weekly level, really beautiful weekly level. So if you got yourself two levels, this golden pocket and this weekly level. So yeah, but I would be looking to long from buy from Golden Pocket. So yeah, any other question, any charts you want me to analyze? Would happy to go over them. Solana is covered, Bitcoin is covered. XRP I can look at, but basically I'm not a fan of XRP. We are losing a monthly level. We are at this order block, so you can expect a bit of bounce. We are approaching this 0.382 level as well. So it's not looking entirely bad for long, but you would need more confirmations. Let me just, let me just. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. We are bouncing from 3.38 to area. We are at the order block. We have swept the monthly level, but overall, I would not long altcoins at all right now. If you wanna trade altcoins, I think Muro is a really great trader for the altcoins. He catches the R like, if he catches the R like beautifully. So yeah, it just, if you wanna trade Zach, if you wanna trade Dash, I would highly advise go with the Muro. He's really good. I'm not just that great with the altcoins. I used to trade alts a lot. Like in back day, I just used to long any other shit or shit coin. But right now, what my strategy is, as I said, 10 to 15 are a month. Beautiful. You got yourself R, and you know when you trade a certain asset for like long period of time, you start to understand the price action of that asset. So let's say if I'm trading a Bitcoin from last 6 months, 7 months, now I will get a sort of idea that what it's gonna do, what it usually does, etc. Because right now, if you go on a Bitcoin, you might have not noticed this, but there was two similar and the major shorts on the Bitcoin that I missed. First, liquidity sweep and the daily FEG. Liquidity sweep and the daily FEG. Similar shorts, similar ideas. And both worked beautifully. Both worked beautifully and both were the highs. So when you trade a certain asset for a long period of time, you start to understand its price action, what it's gonna do next, etc., etc. So yeah, that's basically it. And yeah, as if you go, this is a really important, this was a really important level. We didn't long it from here, but rather we longed it from here. We got ourselves 3 hour in total from 2 trades, so it was beautiful. But overall, yeah, this is the level. If we don't bounce, we are pretty sure wrecked. But if you want to accumulate in the spot, I mostly trade spot, because when you're trading R, it usually doesn't matter. So if you are looking for spot Solana from 131 to 124, it's beautiful. Your invalidation zones will be below of this order block. Basically, you can DCA one more on this order block if you want. So yeah, in the future streams, right now the market was crashing. Yo, Pagi, what's up, man? So, market was crashing, so that's why I was more focused on covering on the Bitcoin and my trades. But in more streams, we are gonna cover on the concepts like order block, FVGs, etc., etc. So you guys can learn more, because the textbook FVG is sometimes a bit more different than what an analyst utilize. Because I have some different rules for the order block. I have different ways to utilize order block, which I think you might find interesting to learn about. So yeah, basically just that. And yeah, any chart we can look at, but mostly, as I said, I don't trade altcoins, so I'm not sure if it's going to be helpful for you. But overall, I was calling for the 85K from a very very long time. If you go on my chair, if you go on my channel, you will see that I'm talking about the 85K, 85K, 85K. But the reason we longed, as I said, it was a worth it long. That's it. This long, it was worth it. I didn't do it because I had enough confluences, but rather I did it because it was worth it. We got stopped out. It's no problem. I had a 85K zone marked on my. As soon as we lost 95K, I was pretty convinced that we are gonna go now on the 85K. But I tried longing from the 90K, because there were some confluences aligned. It was a beautiful level, 95K, 90K. These were good levels, but overall, now 95K was the major ones that was lost. You got yourself no supports at all, and 85K is then your next level, which where from basically you are looking a bounce from. So yeah, right now we are seeing some mechanical bounce, but again, if you go on a lower time frame, I don't see anything. This is not a type of bounce you want to see ideally. Yeah, it's not something I'm gonna look. The Bitcoin still looks. No, I don't trade order flow. I don't know if Wave does. But, last time I checked, there was a lot of shorts opening at the lows from here and here. But unfortunately, I'm surprised that we were opening so much shorts at the lows, but we still didn't got a short squeeze. It is just, it is just, that's it's crazy that we haven't seen a short squeeze, but we are gonna see one. And when we see one, remember my levels: 96K, 101K. I have given you beautiful levels. Don't come to me. I'm probably gonna flex after 1 to 2 months, but this 96K level, I'm not capping. This is a really great level. Probably 98K. 98K aligns with the end of the daily FVG, and this low. This is a pin bar candle. I don't know if you guys are aware of the pin bar candle, but it's a pin bar candle which will act as a resistance. So yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. This FEG, this liquidity, this type of setup aligns with this type of setup. Daily FEG and the liquidity. Daily FEG and the liquidity. And of course, a major resistance. A major resistance. See, that's what I'm talking about. You trade a certain asset for a long time, you understand what it does, etc. So yeah. 96K is the area it is, but 101K is also a great area, by the way. I'm not gonna cap. 10K is also great area. It is a beautiful resistance from this zone. Sorry, beautiful resistance from this zone, and plus we got ourselves a zero point 0.5 level, and I believe we got ourselves an anchor VWAP as well on the one. Not exactly at the 100K, but I believe it will be coming down as the price action comes. But basically, the idea is that if we once we bounce from there, once we bounce from there, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some days, and by the time it will come, this anchored VWAV will be there. That's an idea, but let's see what's happened. Okay, let's not speculate much. I'm not a fan of a speculation, but I'm rather a fan of a reaction. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned something from this stream. And yeah, thank you, Paki, for joining. Thank you, Muro, for joining. And any chart you want me to analyze, or else otherwise we would be good to end this stream. More sweeps. Hope Asians give some good news. Yeah, I'm expecting a bounce on Asia session. I'm expecting a sweep and bounce on the Asia sessions, but let's see what happens. Yeah, I think it's enough unless you guys have something else in mind, something else you want me to analyze. Otherwise, we are good to end the session. I'm gonna wait 1 minute. If not, then we will end it. And of course, thank you guys for joining in. Yeah, I believe we don't have anything. Let me just check the chat real quick. Zachcoin, yes. Zachcoin, yes. I can look at the Zachcoin. It's not a problem. But as I said, if you want to trade certain such coins, it's best if you go on the Muro. But yeah, overall, what I see on the Zach, yeah. See, I was wrong. I was wrong on the Zach. This was an exhaustion for me on the Zach. But overall, we still haven't broke the high. So I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, this was an exhaustion for me. You don't want to see on the all-time high. So this was an exhaustion for me, Zach. So for me, right now, I would rather look for shorts than on longs on the Zach. So I will say, let me just draw a Fibonacci real quick. Yeah, we are into the 0.79 level. So daily, 12 hour, 6 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour. Yeah, we have swept the highs of this as well. Yeah. So I would rather look for shorts on the ZAC because this price action, that's a sign of exhaustion. I don't really like to see. I could be wrong, but most of the time, this is a sign of exhaustion. And when something this is appearing, you mostly want to look for shorts rather than longs at the all-time highs. So yeah, unless we break this and then we do a retest, then we can look for a long. We break this high, but overall, I would look for swing short, stop loss, more confirmation and stop loss above this high, and target the lows. Basically, it will be a good short trade, short swing short trade. But yeah, you want to wait for confirmations, you want to wait for lower time frame structure breaks. Shoot, forgot, sorry man. uh, Sorry. But yeah, I think he left anyway. So oh no, we have a Rabil here. So basically, what I was talking about Rabil is that this is a sign of exhaustion for me because if I go on a daily, you see, not on a daily exactly, but on a 4 hour time frame, you don't wanna see on the all time highs. Let me just remove this box real quick. Yeah, you don't want to see this type of liquidation wicks on the all-time highs. If you're seeing this is probably a sign of really bad bad exhaustion of the trend. And there's also of course a bearish divergence on the RSI. And if I go on a 4 hour time frame, you got yourself a 0.79 level coming in here for. So I would look for swing shorts. I'm saying I will look for. I'm not shorting. I will say if there is a structure break, let's say this is a structure break, then I will look for shorts from around here. But if not, if you're gonna go higher from here, sure you can go higher from here. I don't mind. But from this area, I would not look for longs at all, but rather swing shorts because we are in extreme premium. We have sign of exhaustion. We have RSI bearish divergence on the daily. So why not look for the shorts, right? So yeah, that's basically my analysis would be for the ZAC. Any other chart requires, or otherwise we would be good to end the session, guys. Yeah, I think we are good to end the session. And of course, I'm really glad you guys joined the session. And any feedback, any suggestions regarding the any feedback, any suggestion regarding the session is appreciated, of course. So yeah, have a good day, guys, and cheers.